What's up, people? We are back with more of Fault Milestone 1. I had to think about that for a second, but I remembered rather quickly. Alright, so I believe we got new outfits from Mr. Hirschman, so look at us, all snazzy, jazzy, looking good, looking fine. So we're ready to go on our next journey, next part of our journey at least. So yeah, let's continue. I haven't felt so fulfilled by my work in the longest time. Thank you for rekindling my passion. No, Mr. Hirschman, thank you. Anytime. We are grateful for your assistance, but weren't you celebrating your severance from the store? Was it alright for you to raid your former employer? Oh, don't you worry about that. Whatever my old man says, he says in the heat of the moment. It never sticks, and I've learned to let it go. What happened this time around? He said something so absurd it made me second guess what I actually heard. It's not something you'd ever say to anyone, much less your own son. The family business, huh? Been there, done that, but moving on was never easy. What did he say to you? He told me not to drink while I'm on the job. I second the sentiment of your wise father. And your father is absolutely correct. I was busy tailoring suits and gowns for a close friend's wedding. Could you blame me for making merry over a joyous occasion? That still doesn't warrant drinking on the job. Hey, Ertzi, how are you doing, eh? That big bastard didn't mess you up too bad, did he? Oh, nah, he didn't. Sorry, but you could all excuse me for just a moment. Hirschman made his way through us and began conversing with the gentleman and his female companion. Hey, Ritona, this silk sure flows smooth along the skin. Indeed. That must be the engaged couple that Mr. Hirschman was talking about. They look so happy together. Hirschman spared no expense and used the finest silk fabrics in the store to repay his gratitude to us. The quality of these garments may even surpass the woven materials of my Royal Guardian attire. I wonder how much 2 outfits of this quality would have cost us if we paid for them out of our pockets. Ha 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 ha! What's the meaning behind that awkward laugh? Well, I snuck a peek at the prices for the fabrics Mr. Hirschman used. By the foot. Oh? And what's the total, if you don't mind me asking? Well, I think it's better if you don't ask. I really think it's better that you don't know. Was the total about as high as a Class 3 sediment stone? What kind of clientele is Hirschman tailoring clothes for? Sorry about that, missus. It's no problem. Was that a friend? Anyway, he's a drinking buddy I only ever meet at Abel's Tavern. He was there earlier tonight too. Hertzie, hon, I heard you pick a fight with someone at Abel's tonight. Is that true? Did I pick a fight? Did I ever pick a fight, my dear? Hertzie, hon, don't do that again. You worried me half to death. You don't have to worry about me. Hirschman passed us by once more and began conversing with a lady this time. Damn, that guy is popular. Oh, if you say so, Hirschman. Don't make that face, my dear. Let's hit up April's next time. Just the 2 of us. What do you say? Heck no. Heck no? Well, if it's just the 2 of us, I can make an exception. Really? Then feel free to stop by anytime and we'll go for a drink then. The lady left Hirschman's company after the last word. I'm sorry about that again. You sure are a popular person, Mr. Hirschman. I can assure you, I didn't become popular by choice. We're the only tailors in all Acadia, and when you've been in my line of work this long, the impassable boundary between ourselves and the clientele vanishes real quick. Hirschman swirled a mixture of spirits in a small glass before inhaling them. Mr. Hirschman, Have you not had enough to drink for one night? We wouldn't want you to awaken with a hangover. Hangover, schmangover, it's all part of the job. And it just so happens to be a habit of mine to drink myself into a stupor, especially after a hard day's work. So, what you're saying is that inebriation in excess is all part of the job? You betcha, missy. Every town's gotta have a memorable class act. Cadia's no different, you know what I mean? I'm not sure I follow you, Mr. Hertron. Cadia might be a friendly fledgling city, but it's full of physical and spiritual exhausted folks. On the outer pole, you can expect to have a constant shortage of mana and non-existent mana streams. It's a fact of life that we've all come to accept. But we get exhausted hearing news about mana-borne illnesses or mysteriously vanishing mana streams day after day. Are the mana streams vanishing from the outer pole though? The thought hadn't occurred to me until now. If I recall, I think I heard something about that the other day. It was very disconcerting news to all outer pole inhabitants. That's just how it is. That's why we need a class act around Cadia to keep what left of our happiness and laughter alive. I don't mind being a class act, so long as a drunk tailor can keep people laughing. Mr. Hertron? Yes? I really believe that you are the class act Acadia needs. I nowhere near true class act. I'm still the drunk, village idiot Acadia as far as I'm concerned. Hertron tilted his head upward, proudly as he spoke. Anyways, we'll always have a true class act to thank for these clothes. Oh, that wasn't Hertron. What is this boring room? It's just one bed, that's it. Are you being serious, Miss Selphine? Dead serious, Rune. Dead serious. Oh, and the agriculture and farming communities are just thriving back home. That's incredible. I know, right? I wish we had something like that. Who wouldn't? I wish I could have seen both of your homelands. Everything sounds so wonderful there. Why would you ever want to leave such a great place to travel around the world? It sounds like paradise there. Well, things happened. I didn't happen to trigger some sort of bad memory, did I? Triggered. We just got triggered by Rune. For the time being, I can only say that we're not traveling around by choice. We're trying to return to our homeland, and every second spent here is another second lost. I had no idea. I'm sorry for being insensitive. It's okay, Rune. There's no way you would have known. I've only ever heard stories about the continents of San Adjirstian, but from what I recall, it's a long ways from the outer pole, isn't it? A very long way. We're practically on the other side of the planet from okay, I'm gonna say this right. Ashrishta, I think. Curses! The journey home will be a difficult one. We are bound to encounter other nations and territorial leaders hell-bent on expanding and reinforcing their own lands. It's a chaotic time to be traveling. I'd like to cover as much ground as possible right now, but the reality of our situation does not allow for it. We are novices in terms of traveling. We are without a way to find our bearings or a proven path leading homeward. Wouldn't that mean that for the entire day, I distracted both of you from making any progress on your journey home? Of course you didn't. It's as my lady says, Rune. It's because of you that we even made any progress preparing. Without you, we would have neither supplies nor any significant remaining gallows. Ritona's right. We would have been completely lost around Cadia without you. We're thankful that you even decided to guide us at all, okay? Thank you both. Aww. Thank you both again for letting me take you around Cadia today. Thank you for offering to guide us. We really appreciate what you did for us today, Rune. I share Milady's sentiments. I would like to extend my gratitude to you as well, Rune. Oh, I know. Rune, come over for a second. Yes, Miss Selphine? Hee hee. Philceriol. What's Philceriol? It's a handshake. Where we're from, the Rughzenhaide variant of a handshake, Philceriol, is done by locking the thumb and pinky finger onto the recipient's hands. I'm trying to... I'm so stupid. I was trying to do that with my hands, you know, but then I realized it just doesn't work. You can't really shake your own freaking other hand, you know, because I'm pretty sure you shake the other person's same hand as the hand that you're giving them. So for example, if you give them your right hand, they're obviously shaking back with the right hand. So me shaking my own hand is impossible, of course, because last time I checked, I do have a left and a right hand. I don't have two left hands. So yeah, once again my stupidity shows up. While wrapping the remaining fingers around the outer palm of their hand. I still don't know the real... It doesn't really look that different, except that their pinkies are... I don't even know how normal... I should stop trying to compare because I just cannot do it anyway. Rune instinctively mimicked Selphine's handshake and unintentionally learned of the handshake of our homeland. Good job, Rune! What's the meaning of this? Vilsorol is an Arishtian phrase that means best of luck to you. It's performed as both a manner of greeting and parting. Oh, just like what was the... God damn it, there's one particular word in... Isn't that aloha? I think it's aloha. That means hello and goodbye. Yeah, it's aloha. Miss Ritona, the element of luck is involved with every new encounter and every fond farewell. That's the full definition of the phrase. Where we're from, the phrase is always uttered whenever someone greets another or parts with them. Miss Selphine, I want you both to know that this has been the best day of my life. Your kindness brings me to tears. Please, Rune, there's no need for tears. Vilceriol, Miss Ritona. Vilceriol, Rune. I shook hands with Rune while uttering our regional phrase. Teehee. It doesn't take too much to make Rune cry, does it? The dusk sky has darkened into a hue of blue now. We can walk you halfway to your destination, Rune. Yeah? Yeah? That won't be necessary. Thank you, though. Nobody in Cadia would ever think of doing anything mean or unpleasant to me, like kidnapping. All jokes aside. Yes? Will you both be leaving Cadia tomorrow? I believe that's our tentative plan for the time being. I guess it is. Why do you ask? She gonna come with us? I was hoping, if it's possible, for you two to stay until later in the evening. No, afternoon. Could you two please stay until tomorrow afternoon? Since she's asking so nicely, I guess. Ritona, are you still awake? Wide awake. What's the plan for tomorrow? Are you worried about Rune's request? There's something I'd like to give to you too at that time. I don't think she'd try anything malicious to us by now. I've observed her actions all day, and every action she takes seems to be out of genuine sincerity. She is genuine, Ritona. I know you've always struggled to learn to trust people, but Rune is different. Everybody's untrustworthy in my eyes, milady. My charge as your royal guardian demands that I view all with an indiscriminate eye. I know. I wouldn't expect any less of my childhood companion and best friend. Still, I wonder what it is, exactly, that she wants us to have. Then I take it, milady, Would you like to prolong our stay in Cadia until Rune's requested meeting time tomorrow? Of course I would! Rune's the only friend we've ever made outside of Rughzenhaide. Who knows if we'll ever see her again? I thought as much. Rune is a very peculiar person, but the sincerity about her is as much welcomed rarity. I share your sentiments, milady. Who wouldn't? I'd love to return to Rughzenhaide as soon as possible as well. But how severely would our journey be impeded by staying in Cadia by just a few more hours? Were it not for Rune, I would have to insist on our immediate departure for one irrefutable reason, being, in the outer pole, our dependence on the non-existent mana streams severely hinders our chance of survival. The infinitesimal volume of mana flowing through this barren continent only exacerbates our predicament. Dang, I nailed that sentence. I've noticed, Ritona. That's how they can justify tacking on all those numbers for a simple Class 3 cinnamon stone here. Indeed. More importantly, are you feeling unwell in any way, milady? Unwell? I suppose I'm just feeling a lot more exhausted than usual. A little trip around the entire city didn't help. That's not what I meant. It isn't? Walking around the city has certainly taken a toll on our stamina, yes. But I am referring to the exhaustion stemming from mana deficiency. What? I do not know if it has anything to do with the adaptation of living without mana on the outer pole, but this exhaustion from our inability to siphon mana is akin oxen deprivation. Really, it's the same? That definitely doesn't sound good, Ritona. Mana deficiency only serves to hinder our progress, but at the very least, it isn't life-threatening. What will be excruciatingly painful is the adaptation of our bodies to siphoning less and less mana. Is living on a smaller supply of mana really that bad? Do you think it's possible for us, milady? The mana streams on this planet may have forsaken this continent, but that isn't necessarily the truth for the other continents. For people like ourselves, we have only ever known a life centered around mana. We must depart for another locale that can support our way of life. Knowing that mana is the only means of sustaining our lives, why do you think the people of the outer pole chose to remain here? I don't know. Leaving is not an option for them, and it never will be. Why not, Ritona? While we were raised on San Ashrishta, a continent rich with thick mana streams, our bodies adapted to living with a certain volume of mana to survive. In our current predicament, although we will suffer from mana deficiency while on the outer pole, we will not die. But that cannot be said for the people of the outer pole. Why not? The volume of mana humans may store within their bodies is dictated between their 6th and 9th month of life. Depending how rich and thick the mana streams near that individual is, their maximum volume of mana will be established during those 3 months. The human's body's natural response is to always attempt to siphon that maximum volume of mana from the terrain. But for residents of the outer pole, who were not exposed to as much mana as we were early on, their maximum volume of mana is near to non-existent. Now, imagine if someone from the outer pole were to venture to San Ashrishta. The surrounding mana would attempt to permeate their body. To that person, the mana would be treated as a completely alien, foreign, invasive substance that cannot be retained. So, like a poison. Indeed, people who cannot retain mana naturally will suffer from the mana shock syndrome, which slowly destroys their bodies from within. Dang. So, basically, within that 3-month period of your 6th to 9th month of your life, so as a baby basically, in whichever continent you're in, you're basically only capable of living within that continent, because outside of it you'll sort of have this mana shock syndrome thing going on. Although for Ritona, and it depends of course, if you were from high mana stream continent, then you're fine even on low mana streamline continents, but you'll feel a difference of course. But you basically cannot go from low to high. You can go from high to low, but not from low to high. That will just kill you, or slowly kill you, destroy you. But isn't there a way for them to adapt? Not even to the slightest volume? At present, people who haven't been exposed to mana from birth have little chance of natural mana retention. This explains the lack of migration from the outer pole to other continents. To the people fortunate enough to have been born in territories with ample mana streams, the miracle of mana is one that they will prosper from. However, the same cannot be said for the unfortunate. Exactly, so it sucks if you're just born in the wrong place. So, in this sense, regarding where you're born, okay, this might be a really extreme comparison, but I guess the only comparison that I can come up with for our current living planet, is that basically for us people who are born in a fortunate situation in Europe or America or that sort of stuff, you're basically well off in most cases, right? Or at least decently well off. But the ones in the lower mana streamline countries are probably the ones that are born in the poorer parts of the world, like third world countries, some parts of Asia, some parts of America, that sort of stuff. So I guess it's sort of comparison to that. The mana shock syndrome is akin to throwing a saltwater fish into fresh water and expecting it to swim. That is one irrefutable reason for why we should leave the outer pole. The sooner the better. According to the general rule of thumb, our bodies will begin feeling the full effects of mana deficiency within 5 days. That is the time we have left to leave the outer pole for home, or at least another continent with ample mana streams. The longer we stay here, the more at risk our bodies are to adapting to living without mana, turning us into permanent residents of the outer pole. Oh wow, so for them, if they aren't around mana streamlines, or with sufficient mana streamlines very soon, then they'll just basically turn into the same people as the outer pole. Dang. Are you still certain you wish to delay our departure until tomorrow afternoon, my lady? I'm certain. Oh wow. Then the matter is settled. I wanted to write to Rune once we returned to Rughzenhaide. I wanted to invite her to visit our kingdom and experience our culture for what it is. If only it weren't for mana shock syndrome, I could have invited her over, correct? Indeed, milady. Then our meeting tomorrow will be our last. We owe her that much, at least. We may have only known her for a single day, but we managed to overcome cultural barriers and become friends with her. What kind of queen would I be to my people if I couldn't even bring myself to treasure the bond between myself and a single person? Forgive me, Ritona. I know what I'm asking is selfish and dangerous. Nonsense, milady. Your wish is my undying will, from now until the end of time. Thank you, my good friend. Please, your sentiment is mine to share as well, milady. We owe Rune a final farewell. Fret not, milady. Your words are the only ones I shall ever heed, my queen. Rune's late. It's almost noon. Let's just wait a little. Just a little longer, okay? We have to believe that she'll be here soon. Selphine and Ritona, I presume. We turned around, alarmed by the unfamiliar low tenor of a male, a dark-haired, tall, and well-dressed male. Chapter 3, Discrepancies. His eyes immediately caught my full attention. They were frigid and oppressive, as if his gaze could cut straight into the heart of all matters. I'm curious whether or not genetics are to blame. If not, then what kind of traumatic experience could make a man's eyes become so inhuman and bereft of life? I can kind of feel for this guy because I'm pretty sure genetics have somewhat to do with it. For me personally at least, like for example, I've had people say to me when I just feel like I'm looking, just have the normal look on my face, right? And then people presume that I'm mad or angry for some reason because my natural relaxed face apparently looks kind of angry. So that's what people always think. Because I swear, it happened a couple of times in school that people are just like, "What's wrong? Are you okay? Like, are you angry?" And I was just like, What? Nothing is wrong. I'm just chilling. What are you talking about? Like, just my normal face. It just sort of has this mean streak about it. Like, I really have to smile really brightly for me to appear happy. Can we help you? My name is Rudo Zhevitz, CEO of the... I suppose neither of you would know what the abbreviation would stand for, would you? I'm Sarah's owner. Sarah? Owner? So you're a guardian of some sort? Both of you were seen together in Sarah's company last evening. Rune is Sarah, okay. Last evening? You must be mistaken, sir. The name of the person we were with was Rune. Rune? The man's face suddenly contorted upon hearing Selphine speak Rune's name. So it's Rune now, is it? I suppose so, since it's her name. Rudo let out what sounded like an incredibly exasperated sigh. Let's set the record straight. The thing you both were with last evening, be it Rune or whatever name it gave itself, without an ounce of unreasonable doubt, Sarah... Excuse me, okay? I would appreciate it if you wouldn't address Rune as an object. She's a bona fide girl. Excuse me, but that is an object. A bona fide object. That's enough! I glared straight into the abyss of his frigid pupils as I spoke. Speak your piece, or be gone. Speak my piece, is it? Without spoken clarification, Rudo began to approach closer in the ensuing silence. Holy crap, he's getting all on Ritona's face. Rudo Zhevitz possesses an imposing stature when in close proximity. He was easily an entire foot taller than myself. Oh god, look at his stare down. I instinctively assumed a defensive stance, preparing myself for anything. Your pupils are beautiful pieces of art. Okay, not that. He comes closer, looking like he was about to smack you on the head, and then the first thing that comes out of his mouth, like, your eyes are beautiful. Not what you expect, right? He left me petrified with that remark. Cold sweat escaped from my every pore. The lush radiance flowing from your irises, exuding their brilliance through your eyes, is reminiscent of the gentle glow of fireflies. My jaw dropped in disbelief. Disbelief that this man would attempt to charm me with his antiquated flattery. I may have considered it a compliment, but had he refrained from looking straight into my eyes. From that moment onwards, I was blanketed with a blizzard of anger and hatred swirling within his frigid eyes. Ritona, you both are outsiders masquerading under the guise of travelers, aren't you? Excuse me, sir? What is it you want from us? So be it. Rudo backed away, returning to his original position. What is wrong with this man? Does he bear some sort of grudge against outsiders? Ritona, are you okay? I am unharmed, milady. He merely caught me by surprise. I'll get to the point. I want to know what exactly you instructed Sarah to do yesterday. I want to know why it would dare to... Now that's quite enough from you. We don't know who Sarah is, But this girl we were yesterday with was Rune. If you're going to assert that Rune is Sarah, then we're going to insist that you provide evidence of your claim. Unfortunately for you, I have neither the time nor the patience to indulge you. If I had to elaborate my role to you simply, I would consider myself Sarah's overseer. Overseer? First it was owner, now you're her overseer? You've only made matters more complex. Sarah was caught leaving the premises of the Zhevitz Enterprise mana mine. Mana mine. Oh. See, we're finding out what's happening around here. With several sediment stones stowed away within its garments this morning. Aww, she wanted to give us sediment stones. What? Mana mine? The mana mine is currently being excavated, but Sarah, it really thought it could sneak off with class 4 sediment stones without me noticing. And for what? To bequeath them upon these outsiders? Sometimes I really do wonder what goes on through that thing's mind. And it's being excavated. It's just my line of work in Cadia. It's pretty peculiar and unfortunate. I can't really share the details. Oh, it's all coming together. Peculiar line of work. I don't believe this. Rune is a mana miner? Again, as I've been implying for some time now, Rune does not exist. The girl we met yesterday, are you trying to tell us that she's a laborer? An antiquated way to put it, but I believe that term is passable. You're putting a girl like her to labor her life away? She's slender and short. She's honest and sincere. What kind of arrangement do you have her bound to, you slave driver? Excuse you, but there is no arrangement. Sarah only does as it's ordered because Sarah only exists to serve. Then you really are an owner, an overseer, a slave driver? What are you getting at? And you're treating Rune like your personal slave. Does such a practice still exist here in this country? Oh, for the love of mana, somebody shoot me. Huh? Sarah mentioned that it had made friends, but I suppose it purposely left out a crucial detail it wouldn't want its new friends to know. Answer me. Is Rune in servitude? Is she a slave? Milady, that's a preposterous question. I haven't the time of day to enlighten your severely misguided outsiders about all the basic building blocks which form the foundation that all we know as Cadia. There's little for you two to gain from knowing either. If you think you're the only one on a tight schedule, you're wrong, Mr. Zhevitz. Please, answer us. Please don't address me in such a somber tone. Make no mistake, I came here with the intention of repaying you two for your lost time. And in the ensuing silence, Rudo retrieved a well-rounded, well-shaped sediment stone from his coat pocket. It was a rarity, in fact, to see such a perfectly polished, almost transparent sediment stone. It must be a Class 1. If Class 3 and Class 4 stones had all those zeros, I wonder how many zeros would be tacked onto the price tag of a Class 1. You two are in need of sediment stones, no? Take this as a remuneration of my delaying your departure. That won't be necessary. You can keep your sediment stones, but I would like some answers in exchange. I have to refuse your request, but I will answer this for you. Sarah is not a slave. There's more purpose and worth being a slave. The reason for this evaluation is due to the attempted theft of company property, which is a serious offense. Make no mistake, I will personally see to it that this sort of violation does not occur again. If that was an unsatisfactory answer, then I suggest you both dedicate whatever time you can spare to investigate for yourselves. I'm going to have to put a hard stop to this meeting now. Wait a moment. Yes? What will you do with Rune? What will you do with Sarah? Why would either of you feel compelled to know what I choose to do with Sarah? We're compelled because she's our friend." Selphine gave a swift, resounding, and rupturing response to Rudo's last line of defense. "I understand your claim, Mr. Zhevitz. Am I correct to assume that the issue at hand is the theft of your settlement stones? If it is, we will gladly repay you for the amount she took. We'll do that much, so please, Mr. Zhevitz, do not hurt Rune." "Well, that little spiel was quite unexpected. Tell me, exactly how do you expect to repay me? Surely, if you could have afforded a Class 4 settlement stone, we wouldn't have the issue of theft to deal with now, would we?" That may be true now, but upon returning to our homeland, we will have the funds necessary to remunerate you for your trouble." "And you expect me to take your word of the complete stranger?" "You shouldn't let your emotions get the better of you." Rudo revolved once more in the opposite direction and began to walk away. "Wait! Wait a moment! I am a mana crafter!" Holy crap, did she really say that? "Ritona, give me the settlement stones you have in your hand, and I will imbue it with my purified mana. Give me 10 or 20 similarly sized settlement stones, and I can bridge the connection between each and every lump." Would this arrangement settle the matter of Rune's theft? I'd say you've just opened up a whole new can of worms, young lady. That's not something people would normally admit to, especially in public. And you appear to be such a level-headed individual as well. I suppose looks truly are deceiving. What will it be? Are you going to pass up an opportunity to siphon purified mana when Cadia has no means of doing so naturally? I'd say it's a suitable compensation. I think you surely misunderstood my intentions. Let me share some insight with you. In Cadia, we have something called a judiciary system, which corrects the wrongs wrought upon victims by a guilty party. After ascertaining the guilt of those involved, they must be punished justly. The system exists to enforce the resulting punishment. Let the punishment fit the crime. Apologies and compensation make no difference, but justice must always be delivered. No! Is there anything at all that we can do for Rune? Nothing. The fact that I, the victim of the theft, am not pressing any sort of charges against either of you instigators should have settled the matter. Today, I merely sought to ascertain your intentions for having Sarah steal for you both, but unfortunately, this meeting has been rather counterproductive. But Mr. Zhevitz, I would suggest that you forget about what I have in store for Sarah and leave the outer pole as soon as possible, lest you succumb to mana shock. Oh wow, he knows. Especially you in the crimson irises. Having the ocular characteristics of a gentle glow is not a positive indication. I'd say that you have 3 days remaining until you fully succumb. Excuse me? Mana shock syndrome. The radiance in your eyes will only continue to diminish until during your stay, mana crafter, and when it does, you'll have completely succumbed. How could he know so much? Just by looking into my eyes. Rudo Zhevitz, who are you, really? Leave Cadia now. That is the best course of action. I can recommend that to you both take. That is, of course, unless you both have come seeking permanent residence in the outer pole. With that sardonic statement said, Rudo Zhevitz turned and left our company. Holy crap. This video gone on pretty long, but I really wanted to figure out what happened with Rune, and there seems to be a lot of shady business going on in this city, so I can't wait to find out more, and we will do so in the next video. So I want to thank you all so very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!